Good morning. Happy Thursday. How are you today? So I got this call from one of my former students yesterday and asked me, what is a day like that you go through in a day? And I try to have the same routine every day. I mean, I try to get up early, spend some time meditating, doing a little reading. Then I make my posts onto different social medias. I spend some time with my dog, get ready for the day. Like today, I have a meeting in Gainesville at 10:30, so I will be down there, 2-hour drive. After that meeting, I'll be up in Lake City for the rest of the day. Get back here in the evening, try to get to Planet Fitness, spend some time there, come home, spend some time rehashing the entire day, taking some notes and doing a little reading, and then get back to it. So and while I was reading this morning, I found it kind of funny or odd that, and it's not political by any means, but, it seems to me, my first take was when I saw that people are trying to change lower the voting age and, and getting rid of the electoral college and all of those other things that are going on, is that if you can't win, you change the rules. It would be like the Los Angeles Rams changing the rules that the lowest score in the Super Bowl wins. So then they'd be Super Bowl champs. And that's an unfortunate thing because I see that in our business world too, where we've started to lower the standards so that everybody can win. And that's not, at least in the Dale Carnegie world, that's not what we're about. We set high standards within our classrooms, and we try to coach the people, or we do coach the people to live up to those standards. And they set their own visions, their own goals, and the things that they want, yet we coach them to that level. And it seems in a lot of areas, in our schools and different areas, we've lowered the standards to a mediocre level so that everybody can win. And that's what we want, everybody to feel to be a winner. Yet that's really defeating the purpose because it's not stretching people. It's not bringing you up. You have to set that standard and then you coach people to get there in a safe environment. So throughout the world, every day there are Dale Carnegie classes being formed in different countries, in India, in China, in Poland, in South America, here in the States, throughout the area. We have a class starting next Tuesday in Lake City. We have one in May in Douglas. We'll have one here in Valdosta. We'll have one in Gainesville. We have one starting April 9th in Jacksonville. So we're consistently putting these classes out there, and we set a high standard within that room. Mr. Carnegie set a standard of detail-oriented, high standard, yet he also set a standard of coaching, of helping all peoples rise to that level rather than bringing the level down so that everybody can win. And it's done in a very safe way so that everybody is encouraged. We praise the slightest improvement and praise every improvement. And you lift people up by doing that. I think back when my children were young, and I see so many times we have a lot of individuals coming into the workplace now where standards are set high and they quit. And it's defeating because they've never had a standard set in their life. But, when I was a kid, I mean, if you got a 4.0, that was, incredible. Now kids get 4.3s and 4.4s. In my mind, it doesn't work. If you have 10 questions on a test and you get all 10 right, and there's a bonus question, so that's how you get above a 4.0 or a perfect level, it doesn't work. I mean, there's actually 11 questions on the test. If you get all 11, that's 100%. I mean, so we've lowered the standards so that people will feel that they're attaining something higher than what they might have wanted to. And going back to when my kids were young, when they were real little, we didn't we didn't sit around at night. We knew that we wanted our children to be readers. We wanted them to read, to explore, to learn. Well, you can't have the parents sitting in front of the television set watching TV all night and then go tell the kids, go over there and read. So we rarely watched television at night. We read. So our children saw us reading, and it raised their standards. It wasn't do as I tell you to do. It was do as we do. I mean, we're not going to ask you to do something that we're not willing to do ourselves. And in a conversation with my son the other day, and the things that I see him post on social media, he's constantly reading. I mean, he sent me a picture of all of the books that he's reading right now. And that makes you feel good that you set a great foundation or a standard or a level for your children that they've been able to attain. And, he's also published his own book. So he's an author also. And my daughter's the same way. She ended up being a journalism student at the University of Florida and continues to love to read to this day. And it's amazing, like when I get gifts from my kids at Christmas or birthdays or whatever, many times they're books because they know their dad loves to read. So they love to read, and we're able to share that. And I got that from my mom before she passed away. My mom and dad were both avid readers. And that was a standard that they set in the house that I tried to live up to. And so I shared that on. So setting a standard is not a negative thing. Having, our forefathers, I think, were pretty brilliant people, and they were very young. They were in their 20s, 30s, early 30s, when some of these things were written that we're still doing today. And that was a standard that was set for our country, for us to live up to, and for us to start lowering the standards so that everybody can be a winner. I think we're seeing the backlash of that in some of our corporate cultures today, where we have a lot of people that all won trophies and not a lot of people that want to stand out above the crowd. And that's a dangerous thing to do. So in your world, if you're a parent, if you're a manager, if you're a coach, I know one of the things when I'm coaching people, some individuals, it takes us a lot longer to get to the coaching part of it because we have to take session after session in order to getting them to being comfortable with setting a high standard. In our classrooms, we set visions in week one, and we talk about the breakthroughs that we want to achieve. And then we visit those visions and breakthroughs at the end of the 8 weeks because we want to see how they've changed. And many a times we see a lot of change where somebody's vision may have been set here in week one. After they've built the confidence, week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we get to week 8, and they set a standard for themselves, reset that standard that's much higher. So take a look at the things that you do in your world. Do you set a high standard for your team, for yourself, for your family? And then do you help people get to that standard? And do you stretch yourselves in order to help other people stretch themselves? Just a question to ask. So setting standards and having high expectations are not things that defeat us in life. Setting standards and having high expectations are goals that we need to learn how to attain in life. If you need some help, there's a class forming around you someplace. Look it up, dalecarnegie.com, and find a class in your area that is safe. All of them are, and everybody is coached pretty much the same way. We live up to the standards that Mr. Carnegie set. It's like driving. If you say to yourself, I'm going to drive the length of I-75. I live just off I-75, so I've spent a lot of time on that highway. You can't get on in Atlanta and say you drove the whole length of I-75. It goes from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan all the way down to Naples, Florida. Actually, it goes all the way over to Miami. But if you're just taking the north-south part of it, it goes all the way down to Naples. Some people want to get on in Lake City or Atlanta or Chattanooga and say they drove the whole length of I-75. You didn't. If you want to do it, you have to start at the beginning. Either end would work and drive the whole length. It's a standard. Same standard we set in Dale Carnegie. You can't jump in halfway through and say you did it all. Can't say you did it every day unless you do it every day. Have a great day, and look forward to speaking with you tomorrow.